Water covers about 71% of the Earth's surface, including the lakes, rivers, and seas. It is essential for all living things to survive. Humans need water for our body to function properly. It helps regulate our temperature and maintain our bodily functions. The same goes for animals. However, animals do not have the luxury of freshwater sources such as humans do. They search for water actively, and some even adapt in order to conserve water in their body. This is why we need to consider other species' well-being before we use water for our own needs. We use water to feed the cattle, fill our crops, and also use it in our daily tasks. But we also need to ensure our needs do not interfere with the animals and plants in our ecosystem. Water pollution plays an important role in the survivability of the animals and plants, as they may die due to consuming contaminated water, which leads to many species becoming endangered. This will cause the ecosystem to start falling apart, as each species that is lost will affect other species within the ecosystem. Eventually, there will be no more forests, rivers, oceans, no more clean air, water, and land. Without all of this, us humans can no longer survive. Therefore, it is important for us to conserve and protect our water sources and the environment.
According to Malaysia Environmental Report issued by Minister of National Resources and Environment, in 2018, approximately 638 rivers in Malaysia have been monitored. 56% of them showed clean water quality, 36% of the total river were categorized as lightly polluted, and 8% of the rivers were placed in polluted categories. There are 6 classes of national standard for water quality in Malaysia. Based on this standard, 8% polluted rivers in Malaysia has been classified into 3 bottom class of water. Out of 50 rivers, 30 of them are classified to be in class 3, 16 of them are in class 4, and 4 of them are in class 5. Most of the class 4 and 5 rivers are located on the urban sides of Malaysia. In 2019, the river water quality has shown an improvement. The percentage of the class river has slightly increased, whereas the percentage of polluted river also has slightly decreased from 8% to 7%. In recent years, due to COVID-19 lockdown, lots of rivers in Malaysia have become cleaner from trashes and garbage dumping. However, rivers in the urban area remain to be polluted. Here we documented an urban river in Kota Damansara. This river is surrounded by residential, institutional, educational and industrial buildings. Before the pandemic, people who came here described the water to be clear, which they can even see fish in it, but now the river has turned brown in color. Due to a high reach level of toxicity in the water river, it is possible to make color changes. There are some rivers in Malaysia that has turned black and even white in color, which shows that they are really in a severe state.
Water pollution is caused by a variety of factors as more people migrate into cities and urban areas are developed. The most common factors lead to water pollution is marine dumping. It is not only pollute the water, but it also damages sea animals. Since sewage is chemically treated, other harmful bacteria and chemicals that are carried in it are released into the sea alongside fresh water. Due to lack of a proper waste management system, many factories dump waste which includes harmful substances and contaminants into fresh water, which flows into canals, rivers and eventually into the sea.
Water, also known as a universal solvent that can dissolve more substances than any other liquid on the planet. Marine dumping, inadequate treatment of sewage and chemical pollution from industries are highly associated with human action. All of those are just a starting point for water pollution become worsened day by day.
Water pollution is not something that we can joke around. Most of us are still unaware with these current issues. These issues give negative impacts to our health and aquatic life.
The first impact of water pollution is that it harms our bodies according to what we consume in our daily life. It all started with microplastic and consuming water contaminated by sewage. Plastics that have been processed into small particles are known as microplastic, and usually it will be thrown away into the sea. Besides that, the majority of us are still unaware of the effect of consuming food or water that have been contaminated by the microplastics. One of the effects is you may experience oxidative stress. Oxidative stress also can harm your cell, which causes it to damage. The study shows the abundance of microplastic found on beaches in the town of Kuching, Sarawak. On the other hand, water supply that is not received inadequate treatment has big chances for it to be contaminated, and people who are still using the water may experience rashes, hair loss, and itchy skin. Besides harming human health, the aquatic life like fish, shellfish, and other smaller organisms that live in water are in harm too. This is because the polluted water contains excessive amounts of nitrogen and phosphorus in the water, and this situation is called nutrient pollution. Even though the aquatic ecosystem needs phosphorus and nitrogen, however, the excessive of these elements cause a rapid growth of algae in the ecosystem. This is because a large number of algae in the ecosystem can reduce the amount of oxygen in the water and cause aquatic species to die.
Why are we still wasting our time by worsening these problems with our irresponsible and selfish action? Wake up and do something.
For my part, I would like to suggest and strictly recommend tips for water preservation. As it has said before that water is very important to all living organisms. Undoubtedly, we can't live without water. We need water daily. It should be known that whenever water is polluted, there will be a lot of effects that will happen. Amongst them is this one of diseases. There will be a lot of diseases that will happen, such as cholera, diarrhea, malaria, and so many other diseases. We should keep in mind that it is our responsibility to use water accordingly and to preserve water in a good manner. My recommendation to both the society and the government is that first for the government is to provide education on the issue of water pollution. As we all know that education is very important to all aspects. So it is my hope that this provision of education will help in minimizing or to overcome the problem in all. Also, to take the strict action towards people who pollute the sources of water. And for the society, my recommendation is that we have polluted water sources. For example, when we use solid waste material, instead of throwing them in water sources or in our surroundings, we should recycling them. Thank you.